Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel where we have been listening to every Pink Floyd album from the beginning of their discography with Piper at the Gates of Dawn onward. Now, of course, we are finally entering the age of Pink Floyd's golden era. It feels like every album from this point forward, throughout the 70s at least, remains some of their best work. And of course, to kick it off of that beginning of their just powerful reign in the music industry is going to be their record Meddle. And if you want to see the full unedited reaction of this LP, go ahead and check out the Patreon. For $5 a month, you will get every Pink Floyd reaction completely uncut, as well as every other album I have covered pretty much this year for only $5. But back to the video. This is 46 minutes and 45 seconds long with only 6 tracks, meaning we have some lengthy compositions here, specifically, of course, the track Echoes to close it out. I've heard many great things about Echoes, but I've never listened to it myself, so I'm very much excited to hear that track. It is quite a mammoth. I think the only track longer than it is the Atom Heart Mother track, the title track off their last LP, which we covered in the last video, an album that I thoroughly enjoyed. But even still, I know Atom Heart Mother, even from the band itself, is a little bit more controversial, a little bit more mixed in terms of reception, whereas Meddle is truly where they begin to shine. But let's not dilly-dally anymore. This video, I wanted to do it sooner, but I got food poisoning, so that's not fun. But let's not waste any more time now that I'm fully recovered. Let's hear it. First track, One of These Days, 50 million streams, 50.4 million. Let's get into it. It's got a quiet start. Of course, at this point, having rid themselves of the kind of Syd Barrett psychedelic-like nature, they have embraced atmosphere, and you can hear it right off the bat. If you're wondering how I have a copy of this vinyl instead of the typical green screen, I got it for free from a record bin that was given to me by my father, so thanks for that. I like this ominous kind of guitars, this opening. Ooh. One thing I'll say, they've mastered pacing already at this point, I would say. The tracks always feel incredibly well paced in their gradual build-ups. What if how more electric it's getting? The addition of these guitars getting more vibrant. Love how, distorted and glitchy this guitar is. The cutting in and out, the waveriness of it all. Nick Mason sliding in here. Can we hear that again, please? That's one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard. In the Pink Floyd discography, at least, it is. I didn't like that. Very disturbed track so far. I love the... Sounds like we have a instrument in the left side here specifically being played in reverse. Maybe a guitar or something. You can hear that start cut off of it. Really great galloping instrumental as well. Very triumphant. Back to the Wind here. A great track, very atmospheric, disturbed vocal, that singular vocal about cutting us into little pieces. Sounded like some sort of twisted Tolkien-esque orc. But I loved it. Here's a Pillow of Winds, which is just right off the bat so much sweeter than what we just heard. There's Nick Mason on the opening track there. Gilmore taking over vocal duties, from what I gather. I've always loved and admired when they lean into the acoustic side of their instrumentation. Here, it sounds great. Like I said, when I listened to their album more, I wanted more of it. No pun intended. And here, we are certainly getting that. I'm a big fan of the kind of gentleness that they approach. It's got a nice whimsy to it. And it feels very kind of magical. Sleepy time in my life, with my love by my side, and she's breathing. This is a beautiful, very touching track. And I rise like a bird in the night winds down. Love Gilmore's vocals. Oh, that nice hazy guitar. This feels like a nice, sweet kind of day off with your love, maybe. They certainly have a nice kind of batch of tracks at this point about that kind of early morning rise on Atom Heart Mother. Of course, we got that, and here we're getting it again. And I love that kind of sense of almost fantasy-like wholesome whimsy. That one was really nice, beautiful, just an easy listen. Here's Fearless. Let's keep it going. The band sounds, I would say, even more unified. I feel like as with every release, you know, since Syd Barrett left, they sounded incredibly messy and just kind of scattered throughout the, you know, Ummagumma years. No surprise there. Even more was very scattered in its kind of tone and direction. But with Atom Heart Mother and even this one here, with each edition, certainly feeling a lot more cohesive as a band. The chemistry feeling much stronger than anything prior to this. It's, you know, very interesting to kind of take in every album one by one in order, because you really do feel the sense of chemistry in a band. And I feel like it's a great way to kind of analyze, you know, how a band can sound when they truly find their sound and their sense of chemistry. So I'm very impressed with the direction of the band, for sure. Here's Fearless. And I'm loving the little country twang we're getting on this record, which I'm always a fan of. If you watch my videos, you may know. Love that, like, pocket it finds itself in. Oh, love that. And as I rise above the tree line and the clouds, I look down. Love the double backing vocals. Hear the sound of the things you said today. This one just has a really great energy and atmosphere to it. And a fantastic Fantastic riff there. Love that rise and drop. Also, Nick Mason's playing on this one. Just so steady, so consistent. Truly no complaints there. I could see this album becoming one of my favorites for sure. I'm just loving the energy on it. I feel like it's going to be one of just their strongest, most consistent records from what I've heard so far. It just feels very charming as well in its appeal. It's not super showboaty, like obviously their later records are. Of course, The Wall, especially, that's another one I've listened to, which I'll probably do a re-listen to throughout this series, for the channel. But those records, huge concepts, whereas Meddle, it's not trying to be entirely conceptual in the same sense of those mid-70 records, which I kind of like. It adds just a nice sense of ease to the records. And this one, there's a huge sense of ease on this track. Seems like there's some politics at play here, though. Oh, God, I love that. Bow, bow, bow. Such a good drop with the acoustics. I've never heard a drop sound so soft, yet so beautiful and hard. What are these chants here? Maybe a sense of community? A football club. I really like that outro. From what I read here, kind of servicing as a thank you to John Peel, a DJ for the BBC who championed Pink Floyd's work since their debut. I was a huge supporter of the band, and here, including this Liverpool shout out as a way to kind of thank him. Kind of sweet in their message here. Pink Floyd, very much a sentimental band, despite their distaste for one another as it progresses. But very wholesome, very sentimental. Love that track as well. Like I said, great riffs, great kind of energy to it. Here's San Tropez. Oh. Okay. Bit of a laid back groove. Loving the, oh my God, the vibe on this one. It feels so slick. You feel so cool. Feels very, dare I say, Beatles-esque. Like an old show tune with this energy. Also kind of reminded me of a lot of the work Queen was doing at the time, too, with their kind of playful show tune nature. Huge fan of this track and its energy. What a stylistic switch-up. What a nice tropical, hazy vibe. Who's singing on this one? I don't know if it's Gilmore. Roger Waters. Love what he brings to the table here. Who is our pianist here? Just absolutely killing it on this kind of show tune jazzy mix. Who do we got here? Duh. Mr. Richard Wright. I don't know how I forgot the man's name. I love Richard Wright. If you've seen my series thus far, I've expressed a great admiration for him. I've taken too long of a break due to my food poisoning, clearly, to forget this man. Oh my god, I love this track. What a vibey track. Just incredible atmosphere throughout. Saint-Tropez, I believe it's pronounced. My favorite track maybe so far, I don't know, but at least on initial listen, what a slick, laid back, cool show tune-esque track. Saint-Tropez, oh my goodness. What is there to say? I want a whole album of them playing with that kind of style. What a great, just palpable vibe on that one. Loved it. Give me more of that. Here is, I believe it's pronounced, I want to say Seamus. I don't know. I believe that's how it's typically pronounced. This one, a quick one. Only 2 minutes. The lowest streams on the LP. Only 10 mil. Only. Getting kind of twangy in the country here. There's Seamus. A little tribute to his dog. Kind of reminds me of some of what Led Zeppelin was doing as they got to their last couple of LPs. What a complete kind of wide array of genres we've covered on this LP so far. I'm loving almost like bluesy country mix. Love that addition of Seamus there, howling away, singing his own blues. Oh. Love that one too. Maybe the shortest due to the shortest amount of, or the least amount of streams, I meant to say. Maybe because of the length of the track only being 2 minutes. A great track, a nice little segue into what is clearly going to be the mammoth here. Because now we are entering Echoes, 23 minutes long. Keep in mind, this LP is 46 minutes. So what we listened to, those first 5 tracks, really just made up essentially 23 minutes. And this last track here is going to be pretty much like the first 5 tracks combined in a sense. Here's Echoes, 67 million streams. This is the track that I've heard is like the true masterpiece, stroke of genius. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I have enjoyed this entire record so far. Let's get into Echoes. Let's hear it. This is when they really, I think, embrace what is Pink Floyd. I think this is again showing off those space rock roots that they're of course known for. Ooh. Here we're gonna transcend in the same way we do perhaps with Dark Side of the Moon. Love this rising kind of energy. Oh, what a brooding tone here. Love that descent. Perhaps a track about the passage of time is what I'm gathering, specifically because of the line, the echo of a distant time. Or is this about maybe the distance between two beings, two friends? I'm not sure. Love how enveloping this one is. Feels like we are being pulled into like a twisted storm. Oh my god. This guitar work just kind of slid in the background there, very electrifying. That's Gilmore, of course, I believe. Certainly, a track that heavily showcases the direction they obviously are known for. This is clearly the opus that kicks off, I would say, that entire space rock, psychedelic, ethereal, heavenly, just otherworldly sound. Gilmore's guitars, a key component, of course. Just like perfectly buried in the mix too. Oh my goodness, what a groove. Kind of reminded me of the vibe we had on the previous track that I love so much. Was it San Tropez? I'm loving. Is it the Hammond organ? I know a Hammond organ when I hear it. That, of course, is Richard Wright on the Hammond. Belting it out. Alongside Gilmore here, which is as spacey as ever. Riding that wave. I don't know why I'm reminded of Isaac Hayes with this track, the jammy nature of it all. Love how skittery this part is here. Everything slightly off kilter. What a great groove we've got ourselves in. I feel like we're in some sort of like casino heist or something, We're getting quite ominous here, quite disturbed. Such a gradual shift in energy here. Like a whimper. Well, this is haunted. This whole segment here is such a huge contrast to the very confident groove that we were in. It's like squawking of birds as well in the distance, it sounds like. I feel like we're in a very foggy cemetery or something. Quite haunted in its sound. Okay. I'm loving these different sections we're getting. We saw them do it on Adam Hart Mother. Not sure what the titles of each segment is here. But as we transition to this new phase. I'll give this a pause and just say something. There's many ways to interpret music. Of course, if I were to check the interpretation of this song, I'm sure there is some very concrete ideas with the lyrics. However, with the title Echoes, with the kind of tone we're getting here, I do wonder if this is about the passage of time over a piece of land. Perhaps there was a civilization that fell, and in that more haunted moment, it's like the kind of disturbed, haunted carcass of a land that was once there. And here we are, maybe being rebuilt. Maybe there is a sense of reclamation. I'm not sure, but I just feel like with that idea, picturing this kind of rise and fall of a civilization, it feels like it could be, a great piece to a set piece like such as that. That's just my interpretation of what I'm hearing sonically and lyrically with the lines like, lead you through the land, echo of a distant time, labyrinths of coral caves. Is this about the rise and fall of a civilization? Love the kind of collapsing of Nick Mason's drums. Oh my god, these guitars. Quite energetic. Love how shimmery and glimmering these are. We fall right back into it. Love the effects on the vocals, of course. It's so beautifully triumphant. And right back into it from that opening. What a mammoth of a track. Loved the journey it was. Here we are just coasting along. A little bluesy. Quite emotive in its sound. Wow. Drowning it all out. Right back to that kind of cold, desolate sound from the intro. Now, as for what this track truly means, I'm not sure. I'll do a little bit of research, of course, after I've given this a couple listens to, make my own interpretation, which is, I really like the idea of that being about the rise and fall of a civilization, perhaps. Is that what it's about? I don't know. But I thoroughly enjoyed what I heard. It kind of reminded me of Adam Hart Mother in a lot of ways. That had that midsection that was very funky, very groovy, and then it went into a much more desolate, dark place. In the same way that Echoes certainly, has this driving groove. It goes right into, again, that very casino-esque, very, not even sure how to describe it, almost show-tuney way that Saint-Tropez was, before, again, going to a much more desolate, haunted section in that third act or so. And then we close it out going right back into the beginning. Very similar in structure to Atom Heart Mother. But I would say this one done to a much more grander appeal. Definitely didn't feel as jolted and sudden in its shifts like that track did. I really liked the gradual nature of Echoes. But Meddle as a whole, what a tight, incredibly tight 46 minutes. There's not a single bad track here. I'm actually going to say it now. This is definitely my favorite Pink Floyd LP I've listened to from the beginning on to this point. I'm not including, my reactions of Dark Side of the Moon or my previous listenings of The Wall. Never done a reaction on the channel, but I heard it many years ago and I did a review on it, which I will do a re-reaction to when I get to in this series. But if we're talking, Piper at the Gates of Dawn to Meddle, so far, Meddle is the clear stroke of genius. Incredible chemistry from the entire band here. And definitely doesn't feel like anyone is trying to override another. It doesn't really feel like there is that same sense of tension that, of course, the band somewhat becomes known for as they continue on throughout their legacy. And Meddle just feels like the band really feeling beautifully unified, which I definitely love. I love when you hear a band feel this concrete in their ideas, shared equally, because of course there's the David Gilmour sound that everyone knows and the Roger Waters sound, which are very distinct in their own ways, David Gilmour being much more conceptual in a sense, whereas I'm just loving what we're hearing here. They all kind of have their own place, their own sound. Loved Saint-Tropez. I've said it multiple times already. Fearless, also incredibly great groove to it all. Seamus was a nice kind of country, twangy little piece there, only 2 minutes. Loved how sweet and delicate Pillow of Winds was. And One of These Days, also a very disturbed yet great, powerful opening instrumental that really sets a tone that you don't really see return until the end. So kind of a bookending in a sense. And I feel like Echoes, while we're on the topic of this record still, Echoes, 23 minutes, really does kind of capture, I would say, the sounds of almost every track here and incorporates it into Echoes. So it kind of feels, I guess one could say, almost like a coda or what's the word I'm looking for? Like an overture? I'm not sure if that's right either. But I loved it. I loved how it just captured the ethos of the record. And just a powerful mammoth of a track. What else is there to say? It's great. It's fantastic. What a great listen. Loved it. And I can't wait to hear more. I know their next LP is Obscured by Clouds, which, I'll try to get to sooner rather than later. I want to try to catch up on these videos. I feel like I'm always saying that, but there's something always gets in the way. Hopefully, I will not get sick again. It's been an issue as of late. But that does it for today's video. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe. Again, if you're not part of the Patreon and you're interested in seeing full unedited reactions of every Pink Floyd album, every Bjork album, Kate Bush, every album I've reacted to, pretty much February onwards for the most part, go ahead and check out the Patreon. For only $5, you get my unedited reactions. For $10, you get reactions that are unedited, those $5 tier. Plus, you get music video reactions and live album reactions soon. I haven't done any yet, but I will. I plan on it. And I also, $15 tier, if you're very interested in me as a person, there, I kind of just yap about myself, about life, about things in general. So check out the Patreon down in the description below. But, as always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.